All right, let's look at the warm-up. Okay, so what do we need to write the equation of a line? Okay, well, I think slope-intercept is slope and y-intercept. Would you guys agree with that? So we learned this. If I have y equals mx plus b, that's slope-intercept form. So if we have two things, if we have slope, which is the m, and if we have y-intercept, which is the b, we can write the equation of a line. Okay? So it says the linear form we use, you should have put y equals mx plus b in there. All right? So if we looked at the very first one, A, they give us a slope, right? So that 2/3 is going in for the m. The y-intercept is 10. So you should have wrote down y equals 2/3 x plus 10 for that one. Okay, did everybody get that one? That was kind of the easier one. Now on B, we didn't go over this in the last lesson, but you learned this last year. So if it says the slope is -9/8 and passes through the point 4 negative, let's say 8, yeah. All right, so on that problem, here's what you should have done. I know the slope is -9/8, right? So everybody should put that down. If you didn't remember how to do this, you should have y equals -9/8 x plus b. So that part didn't take any thinking. You just needed to know what the slope was, plug it in. To get the other part, we're going to take that point, 4 -8. Does anybody remember what you do with that point to find the b? Yep, you plug it in. So basically what this is saying, that's an x and a y, right? So if I take those 2 points, or that point, the x and y, plug it in from my x and y over here, b is the only thing I don't know, right? I can now solve for b. So I got -8 equals, now I did black magic there, I realize. If I'm multiplying these together, I realize most of you may just punch it in your calculator, but in theory, if you were going old school and had to work it out, the 4 and the 8 would cancel. I'd have a -9/2, which is -4.5. That's what your calculator should have gave you. So that's -4.5, so I have to add it over here, right? So you should have got -3.5 for B. Right? Okay. Now, if I left it like that, would I have the correct answer? How did I get what part? This, which part? Say it one more time. The 4.5 right here. So you see I had -9/2. That's when I multiplied those together. So the negative, basically 2 times 4 is 8. There'd be 1 left over. So the 4 went out front and then 1/2. So I changed it into a mixed number, made it -4 1/2. So I divided, no. So like if you're taking a fraction that is a improper fraction, you take the bottom and it divides into it. So 2 times 4 is 8. So that's where the 4 came from. I'd have 1 left over. That goes over the 2. So that's turning that into a mixed number, which nobody does anymore because your calculator does it for you. But one day you might not have the calculator. That'd be handy, I guess, to know. You might save your life someday. Could happen. So, but is this the right answer? I have everything I need up there, but how do I want to write it? Write out the equation. So y equals -9/8x. That's my slope. Minus 3.5. That is the y-intercept. Okay, now on the last one, they did not give us a slope, but did they give us enough information to figure out what the slope is? Yes. Now, everybody listen real close, because we're going to use this on the thing we're learning on this next lesson. But what we're thinking about is to write an equation, we need slope and y-intercept, right? So basically, this gives us enough information to find the slope. Now, it doesn't matter to me how you did it. How many people would put it in a table? Probably all of you. How many would you do that to write the slope? Okay, that's fine. So we put it there. You guys agree that's going up 2? That's going down 6. You guys agree with that? You guys want me to pull this off without giggling? Whoever's fault it is. Is that right? Somebody please say no. I said -6. What should it be? Yes. 3 to 9 is a positive, so this should be a +6. So this one went up 2, that one went up 6. So my slope is 2/6, which would reduce to 1/3. So I have this now. Y equals 1/3 x plus b. Now, how do I find the b? I plug in a point. Does it matter which point you plug in? No, I would pick that one, though, since it's already got a 0 in it. Just make things simpler. So I plug a 0 in for y. A 3 in for x. 1/3 times 3 is 1. I would have to subtract the 1 to find b. So your steps on this one are find the slope, which is what we did here. Then we plugged in a point to find the b. Now we have the equation of y equals 1/3 x minus 1. All right, if you guys go down to Roman numeral 2, see where it says parallel lines. Write down the equation of both of those lines that are there. So hopefully as you were writing those down, does everybody agree that the top line has a slope of 2/3 and crosses the y-axis at 2? So my equation was y equals 2/3 x plus 2, 2/3 slope, y-intercept 2. The other one also had a slope of 2/3, didn't it? But it crossed at -1. So these two lines that are parallel, which never cross, what would you say about their slopes? They are the same. Okay, so let's write that down. If lines are parallel, then the slopes are the same. So parallel lines have the same slope. Maybe circle that. That's important. What would you say about their y-intercepts? They are different. If lines are parallel, then the y-intercepts are different. So parallel lines will have the same slope. Okay. And hopefully that makes sense. If lines are not going to cross, shouldn't they be going up at the same rate? All right, now let's go over the perpendicular. Let's look at the one that is going up from left to right. Do you guys agree that it is crossing y at -2 and has a slope of negative? Oh, I'm sorry, it's going up. So it's a positive 3/1. Yes? Try that one more time. So the one that's going uphill, it goes up 3/1, doesn't it? And it crosses at -2, so that would be the equation of that one. If I write the equation of the other one, it is going down 1/3 and is crossing at 0, isn't it? All right, so here's what I want you to write down in the bottom down there. For one of the slopes, write down your 3/1. For the other one, write down -1/3. Okay, so we have two lines that are perpendicular, crossing at a 90-degree angle. When we look at their slopes, what are they doing? How do they compare to each other? They're opposite. And when we say opposite, do you mean opposite signs? One's positive, one's negative. And they're also flipped, aren't they? Okay, so with the technical word we're going to write down, then the slopes are the negative reciprocal. Okay, and that's what the math word is. So negative means opposite signs. Reciprocal means they're flipped. So probably most of you should also write this down. Negative reciprocal can be hard to remember. Some people remember this better. Just write down what it's doing. Write down that they have opposite sign and they're flipped. Okay, once you get that written down, you guys turn the page and try number 1. Write that one down for me, what you think that should be.